All right, what we're going to do in this bed is actually all the way in the back is going to be pole beans. Now, I should have had the strings in place, but I didn't get it done. They're going to have to be done at another time. It's going to be a row of the cabbage and broccoli stuff in the back. Then in the front, we'll have some lettuce here. So we're using as much of the bed as we can. We're going to plant them close together too, so again, they shade out any weeds. And I think I'll start with the broccoli. Some of this bed doesn't look as good as it should. This part here looks pretty nice, but down there, and I'm going to just throw some compost in there and hope for the best. If I had some more compost, which becomes available from the county here pretty soon, I'd put it on there, but I'll probably just have to mulch it with the compost once we get going here. Okay, so I think for our broccoli, right about here, looks good. And that soil doesn't look bad. And about 12 inches apart, probably should be further, but that should be all right. We'll start with our 3 broccoli plants. Want to get a little compost in there? Nothing better than compost for the plants. And broccoli especially needs to go in early. If it goes in when it's too warm, or if the plants have been sitting in their little flats for too long, they'll just form button heads as opposed to nice big full heads. This is also a part of the garden that doesn't get as much sun as we'd like. And these plants would love full sun, but they'll take what they can get. And whenever I plant these, I want to give them a little depression like this, so that when it rains, they can accept the water. They'll keep the water a little longer, as opposed to being up on a hill. That's perfect. Okay, and now in front of that, and I'm just gonna kind of make a little trench here. Yeah, this stuff looks pretty good here. But as we get further down that way, you know what, I think I just might wait. I might just plant half of it now and half of it later when I can improve that soil down there, because this looks pretty good. All right. When you're planting early crops, you have to be sure to leave room for the late stuff and know where your tomatoes are going to be, where your beans are going to be, where your cucumbers, squash, that sort of thing. So it's nice to have a plan written out, which I do have a plan, and we'll look at that in just a little bit. Okay, well, which one first? Butter Crunch. I love Butter Crunch. That's a great lettuce. And in the greenhouse, I've got another whole flat of lettuce going, that when these start, when it gets hot, they start to bolt, or if we just harvested them and we need some more lettuce for later in the year, we'll have it. That's about 6 inches apart, and they'll grow together. All right, now we're gonna have to think about what's next and where we're gonna put it. I think I might move to another bed so that I can improve that as soon as the compost becomes available. And I'll find another spot in the garden here. In fact, I think I'm gonna get my plan and make sure I know exactly where everything's gonna go. Okay, I think I know where everything is going. Always got to kind of roll with the punches. You make a plan up, but then you get certain plants, like the celery was unplanned. So that took the spot of what was going to be lettuce. But I think I've got enough space behind there for lettuce, and still enough room for my cucumbers here. Beans will be back there. I think we're good to go. Lots of garlic. That we'll have plenty of, garlic. Okay, we've consulted the plan. This is where the rest of our cabbage is going to go. And whenever I plant cabbage, I use this tool right here. Same with broccoli, kale, anything like it. This is a floating row cover. And I'm going to show you what it does. This is a wonderful thing. This will last for years if you take care of it. And all it is a spun-bound translucent fabric that we put over the plant. And we do that for cabbage plants and broccoli and the like, So it stops the cabbage butterfly, the cabbage moth, from laying its eggs on here, and then we don't get cabbage worms, because that's where the cabbage worms come from. It also acts as like a little greenhouse. When we cover the plants up with it, it'll warm them up a little bit. One thing you might notice in this bed is that I've got dandelions. And I harvest those dandelions. Those greens are just absolutely wonderful. Behind me I just saw one that I didn't get the other day that I'm going to harvest a little later. So let's start with the cabbage again. Nothing different than what we've done before. We're just going to give them a little bit more space. This soil is really worked up well. And I don't know, maybe at least 12 inches. And this is the early green cabbage. Again, boy, these roots look nice. I'm glad we got to this stuff early. Usually I plant this stuff too close together. That's just the way I do it, I guess. But maybe this time, because I'm on camera, we'll give it a little bit more space. And I'm always doing this, where we got two here, and then we put one in the middle, so that hopefully they'll meet in the middle. And I've got more water. I don't want you to think it's like a cowboy who has endless bullets. While the camera was off, I went and got some more water. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to cover our plants with this. Then we're going to tuck the sides into the dirt. And we might have to do a couple different sizes here. That looks about right. All right, now let's cut. All right, let's see how that looks. Don't be afraid, those plants will hold them up. All right, we've got a lot done today. Cabbage planted, broccoli planted, celery, some lettuce. Got our seedlings thinned in the greenhouse. But if you still have a gardening question, you can just write me. Go to the Post-Gazette website, www.post-gazette.com/homes. On the right-hand side, there's a little thing there called a gardening forum. Click on that button, and you can ask the question there. Now, next week, we're going to put in a bunch of grass. I've got a big flat area out there. The leaves never got off it from the fall. It needs to be reseeded. And so that's what we're doing next week. Until then, I got more lettuce to plant. Got to look at that plan and see where I'm going to put it. So we'll see you next week.